Good evening, and welcome to True Encounters. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. Now, tonight's show, not gonna not gonna dig into the Doug man. I got some new encounters of another cryptid, and this is the goatman, which I think is interesting too. So I was fortunate, to get in contact with this young lady, and she told me about her sighting. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this one. Now, this encounter happened in St. Mary's County, Maryland. Maryland always been known for the goat man, and I've been had a few sightings and encounters of them, but I just never posted them until I ran into this lady and she told me about her encounter. So she said one day she was supposed to go pick up her friend, because they were supposed to go out. So she was in the house getting herself ready. So friend called her and she asked her, she said, "Well, you on your way over here?" She said, "Yeah, as soon as I get myself together, I'll be right over there." So she got herself together, left out the house. She went over, her friend's house. So when she get there, her friend asked her, said, "Where you want to go at?" She said, "It really don't matter, We can go anywhere. The movies, skating or whatever." So they decided, they would just ride around. So they left and started riding. So as they was riding, now mind you, a lot of these roads out here that she told me that they go down, it's pitch black. You can't really see nothing. So it's nighttime. So she said they was riding down this road, and she said when they was riding, she said her friend said, "I hope you ain't gonna keep taking this road all the way down. I hope we're gonna turn off." She said, "Why?" She said, "Because I seen something out here before, but I can't really tell you what it was." She said, "But I know it was big." She said, "Oh, girl, stop playing." She said, all right, I'm telling you. She said, "It was about a year ago, but I'm telling you, I seen something down on this road right here." She said, "All right, whatever." So she just kept on driving. So as they was driving, now the road that they was going down, it is houses on this road, but they spaced out. So they went to go pick up one more person. So it was a guy friend. So they go and stop and picks him up. So when he gets in, they still takes that same road that the girl didn't want to go down. So they going down this road. So they riding, So after about 15 or 20 minutes, the guy asked them, "Can you pull over? I got to go to the bathroom bad." So she said, "Why you ain't go when you was in the house?" He said, "I didn't have to go then." So she pulls over to the right shoulder of the road. So when she pull over, he gets out, he goes around back to the back of the car and relieves himself. So her and her girlfriend, they sitting up front. So she said while she was sitting there, she said her girlfriend was on the phone, just talking. So she said she's looking straight ahead. So she said while she looking, she can see something, but she can't see it that good. So she hit her high beams, boom. So when she hit her high beams, she say she sees something coming out this tree line on all fours. So while this thing coming out of the tree line, it's walking on all fours and it stopped in the middle of the street. So when it stopped, she hits her girlfriend. She say, Hey, look at that. You see that up there?" She say, "What?" She say, "Look real good. Look right there in the middle of the road." She said, "Oh, that ain't nothing but a horse." She said, "That ain't no horse." She said, "Girl, that is a horse." So guy friend gets back in the car. So she continued, pull out from the side of the road and continue to drive. And when she driving, she slows down because now these lights hit this thing, what they saw. What they thought was a horse. When she looked at this thing, she said this thing was on all fours. It was in the middle of the medium strip, right in the middle of the road. She said this thing was huge. She said this thing was sideways, facing the opposite side of the tree line, like it was going across. She said, so when she stopped that car, she said this thing turned and it looked at her. She said this thing had the face of a goat. See, this thing had horns. She said it had gray, shaggy hair. She said, but the back part, it looked like a goat. That's what she said. It looked like a goat. And she said when this thing was looking at her, she said that's when this thing stood up. It stood up and it faced them. She said this thing had broad shoulders. She said the upper body was like a human. The head was like a goat, but it looked like a human too in the face. She said this thing had long arms and it had hands, but it had legs like a goat with gray shaggy hair. She said this thing just looked at him, and when it looked at him for about 20 seconds. She said then this thing turned and it walked over on the other side of this tree line. Now, they still sitting there. Because now she know that what her friend told her, that she saw something a year later out there. Now she know what she saw. She saw that goat man. So they just sitting there. So their friend in the back say, look, man, let's turn around. Let's go back. She said, no, it's gone. It's gone. It's on the other side. So she continued to drive slow. She driving slow. So she's get down there to where this thing crossed at. Now, when she got there where that thing crossed at, she stopped. Now, she curious. She don't know why she stopped, but she just stopped because she curious now. Her friend say, look, why'd you stop in the car? Keep going. She said, wait a minute. And when she stopped that car, she looked over. And when she looked over in that tree line, she see these red eyes. She see these red eyes just looking at her. Now, and it's dark in this tree line, but she see them eyes. And they just like, it's like they self-illuminating. It's like they just glowing. She said these eyes was high off the ground. So this go to tell you that this thing was big, you know. Now, when she sat there and they stared at that thing for a while, then she snapped out of it and she continued to drive. And she just kept on going. Now, that was her first sighting. Now, she had another sighting, but that other sighting wouldn't happen until months later. So without further ado, we're going to just go ahead and get back into this other sighting. Now, this second sighting, it happened on another dark road. When she left her friend's house, she was by herself this time when she had this second encounter. She was by herself. So she said she was just driving. She was hurrying up and trying to get home because she didn't want to run into that thing again. So she said as she driving, she said on the right-hand side on this road that she was driving on, it was a barn. It was just like an old barn that sat probably about 15 to 20 feet from the road. She said, so she driving. So she said as she driving, she's coming up to this barn. She said, so as she's driving, she just sees something run out on two legs, bipedal, and just run cross. Now, cross from this barn, she said it's just an open field. But she said as this thing running cross, the lights catch this thing. She said it's this goat man again. The same one probably because it had the long gray shaggy hair. It had the long gray shaggy hair. It had the horns. It had the legs of a goat. And it had them long arms with them hands. and she said it ran over in that open field. Now, this field was real long, and you had to run a distance to get over to the tree line. So she said this thing just took off and just ran. And in the direction it was running in, it was running up into that tree line. Now, that was her last inciting that she seen of the goatman. So I hope y'all enjoy them 2 encounters right there. And got something else for y'all. The next encounter is when her father had a close encounter with the rake. So just let me know how y'all like them 2, and I'll be right back with another one.